Good afternoon and welcome to NYFP. In midday trade on this Tuesday, the major U.S. stock averages are eking out a small gain. Joining me now is Doreen Mogavero of Mogavero Lee & Company. Doreen, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Well, we got a slew of U.S. As well as global economic data releases today, but earnings season has officially begun with Alcoa reporting mixed results. It's very interesting because a lot of focus this morning has been on Herbalife and not so much on Alcoa's results. But what do you make of what we saw overnight?
Well, I think, first of all the European markets, the Asian markets all did much better, I think, on the back of our good market yesterday. But I think, too, our market here seems to be every day a little bit more tired and a little bit more tired. Movements are a little bit smaller to the upside. So I think we're eventually going to get that rollover that everybody's anticipating, and I think, likewise, so will the other markets. Federal Reserve, President Bullard seems to feel that he'd be happy with scaling back the program a little bit. That would signify two things. Obviously, it would signal, one, that they think the economy could handle that. I'm not sure that that's the case, but okay, I think that the economic data is probably much worse than what we're getting,
And I do want to take this moment to ask you about central banks. We have been seeing the Japanese yen slide against the other major currencies following the aggressive moves from the Bank of Japan. And we also got some cooler than expected inflation figures from China, and that has eased back expectations of the PBOC moving anytime soon. So what do you make of those moves?
Well, I think everybody's doing the same thing globally. I mean, any kind of a move that we see here, we seem to see there and in Europe and every place else. And I think that the bigger issue is going to be not so much the way that the governments are moving now, it's going to be how they plan to exit this. And it's obviously going to have to be a very strategic global organization of an exit strategy at some point in time. But I'm not necessarily sure that it's a good thing. I mean, I think that, it signals to me that these economies are weak and need to be propped up. And I think we're in a very precarious situation. I mean, it's a good thing that they're there helping us along, but by the same token, it's not so good that we need them to be.
And Doreen, speaking of central banks, tomorrow we will be getting the FOMC minutes from the latest meeting. But I did want to take this moment to also ask you about one of the economic data points that came out this morning. We did get wholesale trade figures earlier, but before that we did see the NFIB small business optimism index. So what did you make of that data point?
Well, I think, particularly in this country, we've got to be very careful that small business is feeling confident about this economy, because they do account for more than 50% of the hiring. On the back of bad jobs reports, that's probably not so much of a surprise to see that confidence is down, but I think it's a little distressing to see, because I don't think that gives us much room for hope that they'll be doing any hiring anytime soon.
And Doreen, last but not least, before we wrap it up, as we head into the end of this week, we will be getting a slew of U.S. economic data releases, including retail sales as well as the Consumer Sentiment Index. But what can we expect in terms of fundamentals as well as technicals heading into the end of the week?
I think consumer sentiment for next week, I think you're going to see that I don't think it's going to be it's been continually coming in and getting lower, in other words, the expectations. I think that probably is a trend that will continue. I feel that really the market probably this week is going to continue to sort of trade in a range and probably roll over. I hate to be so pessimistic all the time. I'm trying to find positive things to say to you, but in general I think that we are pretty tired.